For us. Joining us now, House Appropriations Committee member, and he just became ranking member of the House Homeland Security Subcommittee, Congressman Chuck Fleischmann. Congressman, great to see you. Are you in favor of
Good morning.
Are you in favor of what President Trump put before the American people over the weekend?
I think it's another outstanding example of President Trump trying to do the right thing. Let's face it, he has tried and tried and tried, as have House Republicans, since December, to try to put together something that will actually work. And it's a little bit disingenuous for our friends on the other side of the aisle to basically continue to say no, no, no before they actually sit down and listen to proposals. It's high time that we sit down together as Americans, not as Republicans and Democrats, not as senators and House members, but as elected representatives to serve the people and get the government open. But yes, I give the president high marks. I thought his message the other day was much more articulate and much better focused than he was a couple of weeks ago. I think he was spot on. It's reasonable.
So you would vote for this if it comes before the House?
I would study it. I think it's a package that I would be willing to look to see about a potential compromise to get the government open, get border security in place, including a barrier and a wall. I think, Dagan, it's very important to realize that this is much more than just a wall. We've got to look at border security where there are areas where a wall won't work. We've got to secure it that way. But yes, I think we could sit down and come up with something. The American people want a reasonable compromise that will work for all. I think it's high time we get that.
With all due respect, are you having a problem saying I support short-term protection for dreamers in this country?
Well, we have said long ago, even last year when we offered this to the Democrats, that that is something that we'd be willing to look at. I think we've got a problem with the DACA situation. We've got a problem with comprehensive immigration reform in this country. It's possibly a start. The DACA is a piece of a puzzle that includes border security, that includes securing our southern border, that includes making us safe in this country. So do I have a problem with that? No, not at all. I'm willing to sit down and talk, but border security is first and foremost.
Well, time is of the essence because you've got the government that shut down for 31 days. Federal workers have already missed one paycheck. And the knock-on effects, the dominoes are falling across this country, whether people can easily see them or not, in terms of government contractors, in terms of people who can't do business and can't get loans because the government shut down, number one. President Trump did talk about doing a bigger deal on immigration, but that is something to do something bigger later. And so just to the nuts and bolts, if you have people, Republicans, hemming and hawing about what the president put on the table over the weekend about 3-year protection for dreamers and other people who are at risk of deportation, if Republicans hem and haw about that, then this is a non-starter. And that's coming from the Republican side, not the Democrats.
I think the vast majority of Republicans are willing to look at the big picture, at the full picture, and we realize we are in a position of divided government. Let's face it, fortunately, the Republicans control the Senate, but we do not control the House. Fortunately, we control the White House. But 1/3 of the government, if you will, the House, is controlled by very partisan liberal Democrats who don't see the world the way that we do. So we're going to have to sit down and say, what do we need to do to get the government open, to get border security in place? And yes, I've said long ago that we need to take a look at comprehensive immigration reform in total, not just piecemeal. So perhaps this is a catalyst and a very beneficial catalyst on the part of the president to get that discourse and debate started again on comprehensive immigration reform and open the government and secure our border. But let's face it, Republicans have been very steadfast, and Democrats used to be steadfast about the fact that they wanted border security. Border security includes a barrier, it includes a wall, but that's only one part of it. It's much more comprehensive than that.
Congressman Chuck Fleischmann, thank you so much for being here. I just look at it like this. President Trump says we'll do something bigger on immigration later, and Ann Coulter hates what he proposed. So, again, that looks like something everybody should be able to get on board with. Congressman Fleischmann, thank you so much.